President Donald Trump wants to build an Iron Dome for America. He made the announcement during his address to Congress last week. Watch.
First step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
Okay. So notice all the clapping. Mike Johnson, yes, absolutely. So immediately I smelled a rat, and I called it out live during that broadcast while we were on the air. I smelled a rat. So let me explain why I smelled a rat. For that, we need some context in Israel, okay? In recent years, Israel's Iron Dome has been portrayed as a near invincible missile defense system. It intercepts and neutralizes incoming rocket threats with pinpoint accuracy. Nothing can get by it, like Martin Brodeur, the New Jersey Devils. He can stop everything, just like the Iron Dome. Like Brodeur from the New Jersey Devils, you couldn't get anything by that guy, just like the Israeli Iron Dome. So just so you understand, when we talk about the Iron Dome in Israel, we're talking about a project that was funded almost entirely by the United States. Did you know that? Billions. The U.S. has spent billions funding Israel's Iron Dome. And now President Trump wants to replicate this dome and build what he called a Golden Dome here in America, a missile shield over the United States. However, a closer look at this reveals that the Iron Dome is neither as effective nor as impenetrable as its proponents claim. And frankly, nothing like Brodeur at all. The reality is that Israel's missile defense system struggles against high-volume attacks. Being overwhelmed when more than a few rockets are fired at once, it can't handle it. It's economically unsustainable, as I'll show you in a minute, on top of that. And most critically of all, and most importantly of all to my view, it's completely useless against modern hypersonic missile threats. In other words, it doesn't work. So let's throw a whole bunch of money at it, right? So if you need evidence of this, Iran's recent successful use of hypersonic missiles against Israel put that on full display and truly exposed this vulnerability on a global stage, all over CNN, all over Fox News, for all the world to see. So despite these obvious failures, President Trump's push for an American Iron Dome is nothing more than a massive boondoggle, a massive giveaway to the defense industry. A big wet kiss for the military-industrial complex, something we've railed against here on this show for years. They already have $1 trillion that we hand them, helped in part, of course, by Biden's swarming of drones over the mid-Atlantic after the election. Remember that? After the election, and suddenly there were drones all over America, and we couldn't stop it? What are these drones? We need an Iron Dome, of course, to protect us, to shoot them down, to protect our military bases. Why are all these drones up all over the sky? Of course, we now know those drones were U.S. drones being used as a false flag operation to scare us. Remember this guy, Jeff Van Drew? He said it's Iran, and he heard that it was an Iranian mothership out there.
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, we know there was a probability it could have been.
So it's an Iranian mothership launching these drones. Quick, let's build an Iron Dome and spend $1 trillion doing it so we can protect ourselves against the Iranian mothership. Well, we now know.
I think when we, as I say, when we first ran that clip, I'm pretty sure I sprained my optical nerves from eye rolls because I was like, is that guy seriously saying that, like the Iranian mothership?
They think we're
I'll
stupid.
never get over that.
But there's so many people that were watching it, and, you know, they were just sitting there watching Fox News that afternoon. They're like, oh my God, it's Iran. Yeah, you know what? Those Iranians, we better go to war with them. We better build an Iron Dome. Yep, we better do it. False flag. Just like the Iranians that wanted to kill Trump. That's been totally debunked. People still believe that canard. Even Roger Stone, Trump's friend, immediately was like, it's not Iran. That's a false flag. Don't fall for it. We said that right here on the show. Don't fall for it. They want us to go to war with Iran. So anyway, we need to build an Iron Dome. So let's break this down a little bit further here. And I hope that maybe you'll share this video with people. And so anyone who's supporting an Iron Dome project, we're going to actually present you with details and research here. So here's how the Iron Dome is supposed to work. It's short-range missile defense system. It's designed to intercept rockets and artillery shells before they reach populated areas. Developed by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems in partnership with United States defense giant Raytheon, of course. The man in Israel who headed up this project is Brigadier General Daniel Gold. He's considered a national hero. If you speak to Israelis about this, they'll talk about, there he is in purple in the center of your screen there. He's like a national hero. Here he is. He was the head of Israel's Ministry of Defense Research and Development Directorate when he initiated this project. The system consists of 3 key elements and components. Detection and tracking radar system. So it detects incoming threats, predicts their trajectory, knows where they're going to go, and then it doesn't. But by the way, it doesn't track hypersonic missiles coming in. It only will track those small arms that are coming in because hypersonics are way too fast. Then it uses battle management and weapon control system. So it processes that radar data and decides whether or not to launch a interceptor missile. Okay, it's coming in too fast. We can't do anything about it, so we can't do anything about it. Oh, it's coming in slowly? Sure, all right, let's launch something to intercept this thing. And then third, it uses Tamir missiles to intercept and destroy incoming rockets. Here's where it falls apart, though, of course, because each Tamir interceptor costs $40,000 up to $100,000. Each one of them. Each one of those that you just saw launching there, up to $100,000. And the small surface-to-air missiles it's meant to knock down, coming from Hamas or Hezbollah, could cost as little as $300. So you're knocking a $300 thing out of the air with a $100,000 thing. Economics don't really work here. That means that unless American taxpayers are willing to pay for this system, it doesn't make it financially stable at all. But American taxpayers, you guys have been more than generous. Billions of dollars to Israel to support their Iron Dome project. So I'm sure you're fine with that. Totally fine with that. The Iron Dome in Israel has long been touted by CNN and Fox News as a game changer. You know, anytime there's been like live coverage of an event, they're like, they've activated their Iron Dome. And it's been phenomenal. Of course, the reality is that its effectiveness is highly questionable. Wikipedia, which is one of the worst websites in the world, like if you want to get accurate information, Wikipedia is a massive purveyor of misinformation. It claims that the Iron Dome boasts a 90% interception rate. Of course, their source for that information are Israeli media sources for those numbers. But independent analysts say that number is laughable. 90% is a joke. Theodore Postel, MIT physicist who's studied this at length, says that the Iron Dome interceptions are likely far lower, possibly as low as 5 to 10%. Many intercepted rockets are not actually destroyed, but they actually just continue on their trajectory, often striking populated areas. And even Israel itself, even Israeli defense officials have admitted that the system doesn't really work as it's advertised. Former Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Ahrens even admitted that the Iron Dome's effectiveness is often exaggerated. That's right out of Israel. In other words, propaganda. The main problem is that the Iron Dome simply can be just overwhelmed with missiles. For example, during Operation Guardian of the Walls in 2021, Hamas launched over 4,000 rockets, and the Iron Dome failed to stop most of them. Similarly, Hezbollah has upgraded its arsenal with precision-guided munitions, and the Iron Dome can't stop them, as we've detailed on the show over the past few years. But the biggest problem with the Iron Dome is that it's completely useless against modern hypersonic missiles, which Iran, Russia, and China have, and which the United States and Israel do not. Hypersonic missiles are the Iron Dome's worst nightmare. They can't stop them at all, as we saw when Iran devastated airfields, military targets all over Israel, and the Iron Dome didn't do crap. The Iron Dome was powerless to stop them. Explosion after explosion, wiping out military airfields. Worst of all, these hypersonic missiles actually destroyed Iron Dome batteries themselves. The very launch sites for the Iron Dome were destroyed by these hypersonic missiles. And to launch these interceptor rockets, they couldn't do it. And the Iron Dome couldn't do a damn thing to stop it. Just so you understand, hypersonic missiles travel at speeds greater than Mach 5, 3,836 miles an hour, and are highly maneuverable the whole time, making them basically invisible to existing defense systems, including the Iron Dome itself. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles, which follow a predictable arc, hypersonic missiles can change direction mid-flight, making interception nearly impossible. They can't do it. So it raises serious concerns about the feasibility of an Iron Dome-like system in the United States. What are we protecting against? Exactly. If not hypersonic missiles, we keep hearing that those are our biggest threat from Russia and China and Iran. What? What then? Like Mexican cartels with shoulder-fired rockets? Like that's what we're going to build an Iron Dome for? Okay. So President Trump has proposed an American Iron Dome, arguing that the U.S. needs a missile defense shield to protect against threats from China, Russia, and other adversaries. However, this plan is a boondoggle for the defense industry for several reasons. The Iron Dome was designed for short-range rockets, but the United States would need to defend against long-range ballistic missiles, hypersonic weapons, cruise missiles, which the Iron Dome is incapable of stopping. To do all that would cost close to $1 trillion or hundreds of billions of dollars at the minimum. But, you know, when you look at, like, are they going to have budget overruns or not? They always have budget overruns. Do they ever come in under budget in the defense industry in the United States? No. I mean, look at the F-35 program. Look at the Osprey program. Look at all of them. They're always over budget, and then you end up paying for it. This plan is not about security. It's about funneling your money, taxpayer dollars, into the pockets of military corporations. Bottom line. Oh, and by the way, don't fall for the propaganda, because the United States, by the way, already has missile defense systems. The U.S. already operates far more advanced operating systems than the Iron Dome, including the THAAD system, which is the Thermal High Altitude Area Defense, the Aegis system against ballistic missiles, the Ground-Based Mid-Course Defense, the GMD system. And by the way, they're also working right now on the GPI system, the Glide system. None of these systems, however, can reliably stop hypersonic missiles. And they are far more advanced than the Iron Dome system. You see what this is? It's a madness. So when Trump just gets up there and says this and people applaud, they don't understand the details of it at all. In other words, there's nothing the United States can do to stop hypersonic missiles that could be deployed at scale across the United States in some kind of massive dome idea, some sort of golden dome. It's a lie. It won't work. So either Trump is being misled. I like to give President Trump the benefit of the doubt, because I know during his first administration, he was surrounded by neocons that kept him doing certain things like funneling javelins off to Ukraine and other things like that. So it's either one of two things. President Trump is being misled here by neocons in Washington that desperately want trillions of dollars being spent on a boondoggle of an Iron Dome project, or he's lying. He knows it's a boondoggle and he's lying to you. I tend to believe that he's being misled. I don't think he knows the truth on this, personally. Maybe I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt. Where do you guys come down on this? Do you think he knows about this? And by the way, just can we talk some numbers here? So we already have in our possession the Aegis defense system, AEGIS. To fire one of those missiles, to stop like an incoming missile, costs $12 million. Just one of those missiles. Can you imagine? So it's not an invincible shield made out. It's overhyped. It's expensive. It's deeply flawed. It's failed to stop Iran's hypersonic missile attacks on Israel. The push to replicate it in the United States is not about protecting Americans at all, in my opinion. It's about enriching defense contractors. And we should say no to this massive government waste. That's my opinion. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments below.